Alrighty, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to wherever it is in the world you are streaming. Here on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. It's not helping the hair today. Is the hair's getting long, or is it because it's humid out when it gets all puffy? Doesn't solve the gray problem. Not gray, silver. It just looks a little like I'm wearing a hat today, doesn't it? Just went out for a little walk and I'm a little sweaty. Perhaps that's the explanation why. What's happening, people? It's your boy. Here for Wednesday Q&A. 3:15 p.m. Pacific, 6:15 on the East Coast, noon on the islands. Aloha to all of you out there in the world. Especially to my when I was in Hawaii, best place in Oahu. What's that fish market called? Anyone been to Honolulu before? Down in Waikiki? That fish market, they have one in Maui too. Unbelievable. It kind of looks like a chain restaurant, but it's not. Anyways, I'll think of it at some point. What's happening? First question I see. Have you ever been to South Dakota? I have not. Can't say. I've driven through like Chicago and Iowa once before on my way from. I'm a coastal snob. I live on the coast. I like the beach. So the only time that I've been to the middle of the country is by driving through it, flying over it. Helmet head type of day, right? Maybe because it's the humidity outside. It's not that hot. Suns didn't hire Johnny Bryant already. We're doing this. It's just very meh to me. Whoever the next coach is going to be, it's got to be a CAA client. I don't know if Johnny Bryant qualifies in that regard, but we'll see. I mean, he was on Thibodeau's bench, so we might as well have just kept Tibbs. They better get it right. That's all I know. They better get it right because you let go a guy that built something pretty special there. I understand the reasoning for doing it, but you better get it right. Do we have to do off-season talk, guys? I mean, I'm going to answer the questions. Kyle James says, would the Suns be better suited to offloading KD for picks and pieces or trying to make a big deal for another star player to pair with Book? So that guy, that Jordan Ott, that's his name, the guy that they hired from the Cleveland Cavaliers. I don't think you bring on an assistant coach if you are all in. You're promoting an assistant coach to the head coaching level. If you have a bunch of veterans on a team, feels like you go with a more seasoned coach, which would probably suggests that the Suns are headed for a little bit of a rebuild. When they trade Kevin Durant, they're going to get back some draft picks and a piece, the equivalent of a J-Dub, right? Someone like a Jalen Green. Who's that going to be from whatever team trades for Kevin Durant? If he goes to San Antonio, that could be a Steph Castle. It could be a Devin Vassell. That's who you're pairing alongside Devin Booker with. So that's what it feels like to me. They'll bring in a guy that keeps them relevant, but they're still a ways away from a championship for sure. We all know it's true, but why do you think meta world peace? Okay, that's unserious. Which football team do I support? I assume you mean real football, meaning non-American football. Soccer, as we like to call it here. I was a Man City fan, but I was a Man City fan because I hated the same reasons I'm a New York Mets fan, because I hated the Yankees. I don't like the big spenders. Then Man City became the biggest spender. Now Man United has turned into the little brother. I like Borussia Dortmund. I like Man City. I did like PSV. I know. Ever since I've been to Copenhagen, I want to root for FC Copenhagen. I don't know. I'm a free agent. Denver sports fan from South Dakota. Sweet. If CP3 is a point god, what is Halliburton? The point pope? I can get behind that nickname. He is in the point guard god fraternity. Point Pope. I'm sure someone will find that offensive out there in the world, but it's decent. I get the thought process behind it. Paella? What are you talking about? I've not eaten paella today. What do I think about Adam Silver's comments about tanking, particularly about his comments on you're gonna have to tell me, I don't know what you're referencing. Can you specify what those comments were? I'm sure he's a fine-tuned machine with his answers, so I'm sure he's against it. Why would you be tanking when your team never gets the number one overall pick by tanking? That's why the lottery odds have been so flattened out. And I thought what J Dub said at NBA Finals Media Day today about those years where how bad the Thunder were to start and how being bad enabled him to experiment playing in all those different positions. I mean, from point guard all the way up to center and everything in between, 1 through 5. And he's so much more comfortable now that the team is good because of what he was able to do and go out there and free roll. Because what do you have to lose? What do you have to lose when you're a 20-62 team? That Thunder squad once upon a time lost by 70, 80 points to the Memphis Grizzlies on one night. So him going out there and experimenting has now resulted in him being the Swiss Army knife of basketball that allows him to be a point guard. He can be a 3, he can be a 5. You know, tanking is such a minus EV venture now. I don't see any benefit in it unless you have the only way tanking works is if, let's say, your lottery pick is only top 5 protected. And if you have a chance to have the worst record in the NBA, knowing you can't drop further than 5th, that's the only time that I would ever encourage tanking so that you can retain said pick. But unless the protections are involved, it very rarely is a net positive because you see from Oklahoma City, who ethically tanked, still played their guys and lost anyway. And they learned from it. Now, all of a sudden, they've evolved into being the heavy favorites in an NBA Finals. And speaking of being heavy favorites, let's check in on that price, shall we? Let's check in on where are we at? I think it was -6 something in the series last time we were here. What do we think it is? NBA futures. Shout out to ProfitX. 640, 560 is where we're at with the series, which is pretty on par with where we were back on Monday. Wait, you can get 600, 560 because you click Indiana Pacers no. Okay, 600, 560. That's about right. That's about what I would make it to. So I'm already in on the Thunder to win in exactly 5 games. I think Shea will be MVP. That's a way to get -500 as opposed to -600. Okay, just checking in. Is it called Fish Market? Is it actually called Fish Market? Do I need to look it up? I think it's called Fish Market. Do you mind telling me why I use a wrist stabilizer? You mean this? Or it's just you don't have one of these on your wrist too? It's part of my body. Like Wolverine couldn't get rid of the knives. You can't get this off my wrist. I don't know what I'm supposed to do about it. It's part of me. Like Rip Hamilton with the mask. When do you see NBA expansion becoming a reality? We're going to find out. Underrated storyline going into the summer because this is going to surely be chaotic times with all the stars who are on the move with Giannis and KD. LeBron's got to do something with his option, what the Rockets are going to be up to, Fred VanVleet's big team option, and then how they proceed. San Antonio is going to be involved in everything. And then the Board of Governors are meeting on expansion timeline. So we could get some information on that very quickly. We don't know the cities, but we may know the timing of it and when they're planning now that those broadcast rights deals have been set. Now that those are locked in, the NBA can proceed with expansion. That was the first big step. You got to think it's going to be Seattle and Vegas, but I don't know anything. I'm just that those seem like the most likely options. You can move Memphis and New Orleans or whoever to the Eastern Conference. Um, I do wonder if Mexico City's in play. Yeah, we'll see. Thoughts on KD to the Knicks? How are you doing that? Are you said I'm not sending Karl Anthony Towns for 1 year of Kevin Durant. So how else are you making that happen? Sending Mikal Bridges back to Phoenix? I'm not doing that either. You can't just like put players on teams like you turn off fair trades on 2K. I just don't understand the purpose. The Knicks should just run it back with what they have and add some pieces off that bench that they're more comfortable going to so that if they do end up playing the Pacers at some point again, they'll have 10 guys that have had the experience throughout the regular season and being prepared for that type of style. Pace and space, the depth, like the Pacers have put in months, if not years of work to have the ability to play 13 guys and not lose a beat. You can't just play DeLon Wright and pray that to his credit, he did, and just pray that he's going to be able to go out there and seamlessly replace a Jalen Brunson. It's part of the reason why I think Tibbs doesn't have a job anymore. Just using the bench as a necessity more than a preference was quite evident. And as the NBA takes its next step from super teams and big three styles, top heavy veteran playoff lineups to you gotta have depth because of how fast the game is now. Maybe Tibbs wasn't the right guy. I wish I had a better explanation for you, but just bringing in Kevin Durant, I don't know what that solves. And KD's a great player, but I don't want to give up Cat. I don't want to give up Brunson. I know that they're two individual defensive liabilities, but the biggest Knicks problem was not those two just getting exposed on an island every single time down the floor. It was the rotations, the closeouts, and the communication. Nothing to do with the two of them. It had to do with everybody. Maybe a new defensive coach that can emphasize those points will help. And it's making it sound like Tom Thibodeau's not a defense first coach anyway. Steve says the Pacers would be the largest preseason underdog in underdog pre-finals to win it all. Kind of surprising. Preseason underdog. I wonder what the Miami Heat were against the Nuggets. Yeah, I have a buddy. I'm sure he would be fine with me saying his name, but he's a former poker champion that did bet the Pacers preseason very big because the two of us, I bet the Pacers last year big to win the Eastern Conference. That would have been a galactic payout and probably could have had a similar number, not as big, but something similar number this year. My buddy's got it. And that shit pays like 80, 70 to 1, maybe. No, like 60 to 1. So yeah, 60 to 1. But it all stemmed from the belief in Pritchard in the front office, and Nesmith was why me and my buddy continued to bet on the Pacers and just donate. And then the 1 year I choose not to do it, they make the damn finals. But they will not be winning, and that ticket, unfortunately, is going to come one step short because OKC will be winning in 5. Has an expansion team ever won the championship their first season? The Vegas Golden Knights almost did it in hockey. They almost did it. What's an underrated one-on-one role play? Is this really what you guys want to talk about? Oh my God. Maybe I just have it. I had different designs for this show of questions that were going to be asked. If this just turns into a basketball Q&A, it's fine. But I do this all day. I do this shit. You can find this like so many other places. What's an underrated one-on-one role player matchup are you looking forward to seeing in the finals? We'll call it. Well, yeah, I want to see how Neesmith handles Shea Gilgis because despite winning the series, Jalen Brunson still got his numbers, and Neesmith was really effective at making Brunson's life as difficult as possible, and he still scored anyway. And considering how frustrated Jaden McDaniels got with Shea, and he's got the height, the wingspan advantage on Neesmith, and one of if not the premier on-ball defender in the world. Can Neesmith stay out of foul trouble against SGA, who's even better than Brunson at getting to the free throw line? Because if Neesmith's not on the floor, there's a steep fall off, even to Andrew Nembhard. So can Neesmith stay on the floor? Can he continue to shoot as the top true shooting percentage guy in the playoffs this year? Those are big asks against an OKC defense that moves like a pack of hyenas, especially on the perimeter. Do we really think our bench was that good? Deuce, Mitch, and Hart combined don't average 25 points. Neither Hart nor Deuce is a defensive stop or impact. This is a really long comment, and most talent reverts to the mean, their averages, which are so why are we using the rotations instead of the roster that didn't assemble as okay? I think you made some sense there. Why are we using the rotations instead of the roster? Well, either way, it doesn't matter because all those guys are coming off the books. Shamet, Delon Wright, Precious Achua, all headed to free agency. And the Knicks, if they lacked depth before, how are they going to replace the guys that couldn't even get burned? And Landry Shamet was pretty damn good the conference finals. Pacers had plus 5,000 odds, the same as the Pelicans. What were odds makers thinking? Team made the Eastern Conference Finals last year. Retained everyone. Siakam more familiar. And the Eastern Conference is weak. Weak. Yeah. The reason why it's the plus 5,000 odds are if this same Pacers team had Lakers on the front of their jersey, that's the way this works. They would have cut those odds in half to plus 2,500 because people just want to bet the Lakers. No one's going to go out of their way to bet the Pacers unless you're incredibly sharp, which I certainly thought me and my buddy were. He's the only one that followed through on it this year. But they do that because those numbers are trying to drive action and hold. So you have to make them juicy enough for someone to think, yeah, maybe the Pacers can win the championship. 49 out of 50 times almost. It's not going to happen. It may just fall a little bit short. But the Pelicans, if the Pelicans stayed healthy, they were a top 6 team in the West easily. They could be next year. Now, they got problems with DeJounte Murray and the coaching. I don't know what the coaching situation is going to look like. And even if Zion's, what's going to happen there? But that roster was stacked. They are as good on paper as anybody out there. Herb Jones, too. Jordan Hawkins. They got like every perfect prototype of player, and they're about to get another top 10 pick. Yves Missi certainly developed, too. Pelicans are good. That's probably the team that I'm going to bet to win the Western Conference next year just because of the number they're going to get. Is 6,000, 7,000 to win the conference, let alone the NBA title. Thoughts on Orlando's rebrand? They got the color right. They got the pinstripes right. They got the trim right. There were many years we went away from those famous 90s pinstripes with the, you could see one of them. This is the jersey for a long time. You guys remember the T-Mac one right here with the stars and the holograms? There were no pinstripes for many, many years and kind of brought them back, but it was like fake pinstripes and ugh. So they got those right. The thickness of the pinstripes matters. The trim matters. You can ask Laker fans about that. The color is royal blue. I understand what they're doing, matching the warm-up jacket, so that's fine. But the font is a disaster. The difference between them and the Utah Jazz and what the Jazz got right is they not only, from the 90s Jazz jerseys, they have that exact font. You can tell, like, the attention to detail halfway up the letter, you can see a little like dent, just like the Jazz, and then the angle of the writing on the jerseys is slanted like 30 degrees. It's perfect. Orlando came out with like Microsoft Word, Windows 95 word art when it was like practically almost script. The star didn't look like I don't even know what the comparison, SpongeBob character. It's just, it looks cheap. It looks like Temu, something you would buy on the front page of Temu, like a flea market Magic jersey. Just because of the writing, but they got everything else right. I don't love the logo either. It's the 90s is right there. Like everything is done for you. All you have to do is just bring it back. Flawless product. Flawless. Everything about the 90s. There's a reason why NBC is going to be tapping into the nostalgia, because it was perfect. You don't fix something that's not broken. They tried many, many years, and they're only doing all this new branding shit because they're trying to sell jerseys. But they're trying to make money. It's the only reason. Those horrendous city editions across the league. Worst NBA jerseys ever. Worst. The Washington Wizards city editions are up there. The Orlando Magic with their Orange County jerseys, where it was ORL with like an orange star, that was the worst court. It was like gray, black, and orange. What are y'all doing? The Orlando Magic have one of the coolest court jersey logo combos in professional sports worldwide. They were perfect across the board. Perfect in the 90s. Those Penny Hardaway unis with Shaquille O'Neal. Everything about it. And then someone one day showed up to the marketing meeting and said, we should change this. I have an idea to make it a little bit more modern. And everyone had to say yes, because likely that person who suggested it was some Nepo baby to the senior vice president of marketing. And then that's how it gets ruined. Sometimes it's that simple. You can't say no to a terrible idea because of who proposes it. And your job's on the line. And then somebody stupid does something stupid, like changing from the 90s logos. There's a reason why the Chicago Bulls, the New York Knicks, the Boston Celtics, they go to their icon jerseys more than any other team, because they value tradition and the equity that branding has across generations. Not just like continuing to flip something every season. Like what's our logo going to look like this year? No one can identify like what they're watching or what. I don't know. Last time I watched a finals game at a bar or a restaurant, never. It's either I don't even like going to the games. This is how when you take a passion and turn it into a job, what it does to you. I was sitting in a suite for the 2019 finals. And it wasn't even that. I was like miserable because I was working at the same time. Couldn't enjoy the experience. People are in there like taking selfies and getting drunk. And you're sitting with like the most perfect view in a premium seat for an NBA finals involving Steph Curry and Kawhi Leonard. And there was just nothing about it that I enjoyed more. I enjoyed just sitting on my couch a little bit more and drinking a White Claw. Welcome to being a boomer. And it's at the point now, I won't even go to a game unless I'm sitting courtside. Like, God bless all these people who keep offering me tickets, but I'm not flying all the way there to watch an NBA game when my feet are not on the wood. Sorry. That was the last game I went to. It was NBA Cup in Vegas. Unless I got feet on the wood, you're talking to a snob. Once you sit there, you can't go from first class back to economy. That's why you should never do it, because then it ruins the experience. Do I think Utah is actually done with their rebuild phase? No, they missed on the draft, so they're gonna have to, or they missed with the draft lottery. They're gonna have to find a way back. They're gonna have to find a way back through the draft. That's gonna take time. Those gray Clipper ones with white lettering. Wait, gray Clippers. When did the Clippers have gray? What year? Who was on the team? I'm trying to remember what year. The Clippers always rebrand. It's so annoying. No wait in the bathroom lines at home, and they won't cut you off after the fourth quarter. These are true. I mean, just the experience of the technology of the cameras. You always have a better angle on television than you do sitting in the 14th row in the corner, even though that's a really good seat. I've just done it too much. That's the answer. You guys should go to games. Games are fun, especially playoff games. And if your team's playing and you'll have a great time. Like being in the arena is the NBA in-game experience is very top notch. Very top notch. You will be thoroughly entertained. But when you've done it 10,000 times, you just kind of like grow apathetic towards it, like you would anything else in life. It's 21-22. Reggie Jackson team? Gray. I don't remember those uniforms. I'm going to look them up right now. Gray Clippers uniforms. Ugh! Ugh! I kind of remember these. Here, do I need to put them on the screen? Hold on. Okay. I don't know how to add a second add to stage. Okay. I don't know how to change the website, but I see what you're talking about. Gray Clippers jerseys. These are horrible. How many times did they wear these? So they were statement jerseys. Ugh. Oh, I much prefer the Grand Theft Auto one, the San Andreas font ones over these. Those are terrible. I don't remember them wearing those at all. 21-22. Those are horrible. Thank God. This is what happens when you go to a marketing department and say, "Hey, we need something new to drive revenue." That's what they come up with. That. I was trying to get finals tickets from the Pacers tomorrow too. What do you mean? I really want to show you guys how terrible these are. Do I have to stop screen? Remove. Stop screen. Okay. Share screen. I got it. I think I got it. These are horrible. Look at these. Why don't I remember them wearing these? That was just such a look. Oh my God, those ones in the bottom right corner, those city editions that say clips. Ugh. And those aren't even, those are like kind of gray. I'm trying to zoom in here. Give me a second. These are horrific. What are we doing? Oh, these are bad too. These are great. Wait, is this real? The script, the fake script with the colored trim. Who approves these? What on earth about this screams Clippers? Y'all butcher your brand so bad in the name of some New Jersey dollars. Like, oh my God, I would never in a million years think that this is the Clippers. Nothing about this associates. The trim, look at the trim. It's blue and red too. It's like, oh, by the way, just a reminder of our colors right there. They're not intimidating. They're not appealing. Like, why would anyone walking down the street want to wear that? Try and match my gray shoes? Those are horrible. Every team pulls shit like this. Am I going to surf this summer? No, I don't want to go in the ocean. Pacific Ocean is just not naturally clean. It's got a bunch of algae and bacteria. It's cold. There's sharks in there. I would much rather go somewhere where the water is clear, like swimming in the Mediterranean. You can see half a mile away from you. It's like swimming in glass. Yeah, no city editions in the finals. Ugh. Who are the city editions for? Kids. 100%. Kids don't understand the importance of tradition yet. So the Knicks and the Celtics and the Bulls and the Heat wearing all their classic colors, and the Warriors too. Spurs are a good one. Teams that still have stuck with those same logos for a long time. And color schemes, that matters. Can't tell you how many times I watch a game with someone who isn't keeping up with the NBA when, like, the Detroit Pistons have the 313 unis and it says 313 in midcourt, and they're like, what team am I watching? Like, I don't, tell me what team this is. And they're like, I'd never be able to tell you unless they put it on the screen, or there's no brand identity, and there's that recognition. Like, why? It just doesn't contribute to engagement at all. There's no familiarity with it. I'm somehow, this is probably Fanatics' fault. This is probably one way or another Fanatics' fault. It's almost always their fault, even though they have nothing to do with the NBA. It's just that business model. They have to churn so much revenue that you sacrifice tradition for originality, ingenuity. For a quick buck. Okay, sorry, I'm just changing up the windows here. Oh, at least there's a Stanley Cup on tonight. I am in a good mood though, because I've been hitting my baseball bets recently. And I'm up a ton this week. Okay, I said I was going to take the underdog in whoever it was in game one. Edmonton's got home ice advantage. Their defense scares me. Edmonton can score the rock. They get buckets on ice. They are not going to be able to defend against a counter-punching. This is kind of Pacers versus Knicks. Edmonton is the Pacers. Florida is the Knicks, the counter-punching, slower team versus just blasting off shots. I kind of like Florida tonight. Not enough to bet it, though. Adrian says multiple Knicks players have been unhappy with the presence of Rick Brunson. That I don't believe. They're all Villanova guys. They've known him their their whole lives, and Lord knows how much Rick Brunson's being paid. He's not going anywhere. The reason why he's on the team is you want to. Why is Jalen Brunson take such a small contract? Come on. This is like when Andrei Kirilenko took $50 million less from the Brooklyn Nets. Why do you think that happened? Every other team was offering him $50 million more, and he took a massive, gargantuan pay cut to go to Brooklyn. Mikhail Prokhorov said, "I'll leave a duffel bag full of rubles for you up in Siberia or something. Millions and millions of dollars." Can you guys hear this coach outside my window? This tennis coach is being super fucking annoying. Coaching a kid. It screams Clippers in the fact that it sucks. Yes, those gray unis. My God. Players look terrible in them. Yes, agreed. No, vegan Barbie. I like the current version of the Clippers is the closest thing they can get to the ones I like is the Lamar Odom, Darius Miles, Quentin Richardson, Eric Piatkowski, those uniforms with the pure script and the Clippers logo at midcourt with the streaks going across the basketball, right? That's the best Clippers logo. And the one that they have now, I don't know, it looks too like Steve Ballmer-ish. It's the circle with the new cruise ship coming at you that's meant to represent a Clipper. But the uniforms are cool. I like the uniforms with the Clippers half script, and the trim is cool. I'm down. It's the closest thing you can get to those. It's what Orlando just did, throwing it back to the 90s, but not messing up the font. Now you see the importance of font. And the Clippers font on their new uniforms is perfect complement to what it was 90s, 2000s when they had their best version of the brand. Panthers are way better than the Knicks. Yeah, they are. The Panthers are so good. I've been really enjoying the Stanley Cup. I bet on it a lot. I'm always betting underdogs because there's no such thing as home ice. That's got to be the sport with the least impactful home ice field court advantage in all of sports. Hockey. So those numbers do not reflect the advantage, and they are way overreacting to that. No brand continuity, just vibes. With the Clippers, yeah. Like when they did the whole LAC with the circle, and then they went to the San Andreas script writing at midcourt. And those jerseys were actually decent, but they only keep them for a year before they keep turning them over. And it's like, I don't know who enjoys the continuous alteration of your identity. I don't know who relates to that. Worldwide West runs that organization. I wish you guys were there for when I met Worldwide West. I met him at Summer League for the first time, and I got introduced by Woj. Yeah, he's like, "Come over here, Worldwide West, meet Worldwide Wob." And Worldwide West looks at me and goes, "What's your name?" And I'm like, "Worldwide Wob." He's like, "Really?" I'm like, "Really?" Like it was taken after you. For the worldwide part. We had a nice little conversation. But yeah, he is definitely, that's why the head coach of the New York Knicks is going to be CAA affiliated because of Leon Rose and Worldwide West. It is an extension of CAA, the New York Knicks. So all your candidates better fall into line. Did I see the leaked shorts for the? Oh God, no. Unless it's the classic blues and whites, I just don't care. I'm rooting against the Kith. What's the one with the word art shadows? Is that the Kith jersey? Ugh. Ugh, the statement ones, like the navy blue. On what planet are the New York Knicks a navy blue team? Ugh, nothing. Nothing makes me scowl, puts me in a bad mood like what they're doing. NBA jerseys are so cool that anyone can wear them at any age. The cut, the fit, the style, the culture, the brand identity. You can just be a normal person wearing a basketball jersey and nobody would question it. I think soccer kits have a lot of that value too worldwide. I go to Colombia, I go to the middle of the Mediterranean and Malta, and people are wearing Celtics jerseys and like Lakers jerseys with no shirt on underneath. It's just comfortable fashion that people enjoy. And you are trying to ruin that. You're trying to ruin that by adding surplus to the market so that you report to your boss that year that you sold new merchandise. Do I have a hockey team? Not really. I kind of support the Rangers. Just I would I don't lose a minute of sleep. I did, you know what? I actually rooted for the Kings when they made their Stanley Cup run against the Rangers because it was here in LA. I kind of, you know what? I should be a Vegas Golden Knights fan, but I really like Connor McDavid. I might just be one of those. Now I see what it's like to follow a player. Because like, how do you root for LeBron and keep changing teams? You're just following LeBron, and they're like, yeah, duh. Like, how do you? No, no, no. I could never do that. But with hockey, I might be willing to follow Connor McDavid wherever he goes. That dude is, he is like, oh baby, I will go out of my way to pay to watch him. The other night when it was going up against the NBA, and McDavid had that breakaway against the Stars. Oh boy, I wasn't paying attention to the NBA game for like 10 minutes. I was fucking hyped after that shit. Yeah, McDavid and McKinnon. McDavid and McKinnon are my two like must see. If they're playing, they're on my TV one way or another. Yeah, that's why Michael Malone, I think, is dead in the water with the Knicks, despite his CAA affiliation. He's just the reason why he got fired in Denver is him and Calvin Booth couldn't come to terms on how much to play the how much to not just play but develop the younger guys during the regular season and get them prepared for being called upon on the playoffs. Right? I imagine Calvin Booth was like, I need you to play Strother, Peyton Watson, Jalen Pickett. They need to be integrated into the lineup like immediately because we're gonna have some problems if we don't win a championship and then we lose these guys in free agency. And Michael Malone's sitting there like, that's not my problem. Cross that bridge when we get there. I'm going to coach this team, win a championship, and I'm going to play my vets. Russell Westbrook's going to be on the floor. Speaking of, there's so many. I've been doing the season. I do my season recap videos. This shit takes so long. Oh my god, I've already spent like 15 hours on just downloading, cutting, and arranging the clips before I even get to the moving them around and telling a story part, which is going to be like another 15 hours. How many Russell Westbrook clips there were. So I've got one from the double overtime game against the Timberwolves where he smokes the layup, then he fouls Nickeil Alexander-Walker in the corner. The one in LA where he hits the boom bitch to the head. I think both of those are going to make the final cut. It's the MSG City edition, but white. Then they're getting rid of the statements and bringing back the orange and blue gradient from when they. You can tell me, you can give me the greatest explanation in the world, and I'll still hate it. I'll still hate it. Unless it's an 80s, 90s style. I'm going to hate it. And even people can't even find reasons to argue. They'll tell you like someone will just say Steph Curry's a bad shooter because they're just looking to argue. You can't even argue. You can't find anything about the 90s NBAs that is not an attractive product, from the kits to the logos to the floors to the coverage. And part of me really hopes that the NBA on NBC goes back to doing no graphics on the screen. they would only flash the score, then they would take it away, and it was just a clean slate, an endless slate of presentation. It was so pure, and it's never going to happen because now they got the courts look like NASCAR hoods with how many ads they have on the screen. Um, yeah, I would love to. I'm trying so hard to get involved with the creative on the production side with NBC. They haven't started hiring. They haven't hired anybody besides studio talent yet, and it's starting to get a little late. I'm trying to finesse my way into there to be one of the cooks in the kitchen because that brand is super important. And I made this proposal last night on Twitter that all NBA on NBC games should feature the classic edition uniforms exclusively. Every time there's a game on NBA on NBC, the classic editions, not your icons, not your statements, not your cities, your classics. Do I think there's any truth to superstar rumors that blew up like 90 minutes ago? I don't know. It's probably fake news. There's only so many people you can trust on the internet. Everyone else is just like, even with the Thibodeau stuff, there were so many people who were like, "Oh, there's going to be big Knicks news." Man, if you got the story, you would report it. There's a reason why you're not reporting it because it's not final yet. You could have a tip, you could have a source that's, you know how many times I've been told something and I could have broken news like 1,000 times. But I don't do it, one, because you get told things because they know you'll keep the secret. And two, if you don't have the story, then you don't have the story. You just have a tip. You either vet it and you go about the journalistic process of confirming that it's real and then sharing it, or you kind of just, oh, this is information, and you sit on it. Like, I could have told you about the Luka trade, what happened before they went to the Lakers. I know every single thing that happened, but I can't share it publicly because that information has been shared to me in the confidence. There was another team that they went to first before the Lakers, believe it or not. That you know what, the Giddy half court shot is in it. I had to cut it down though. So do you remember that Giddy shot against the Lakers before the layup in the heave? There was a steal on the inbounds. Patrick Williams for three in the corner, and I think Kobe White stepped into one. It was a 5-6 point game with 20 something seconds left, right? 7 point game, maybe even. Yeah. So I had to cut that part out because it would have ran like 45 seconds, and the Luka trade takes up like a minute and a half to 2 minutes of the entire video. It has to. Rob, this is Rob from Georgia. What's up, Rod? Nice to put a face to the name after dealing with you. After dealing with you through the radio so many times, the audio only components. Are the rumors true that the Knicks are planning to give compensation to acquire Jason Kidd, trying to facilitate a multi-team trade centered around OG that lands? All of those things are possibilities, Raw, but we're in just rumor season right now. So my recommendation as someone that's been through this for 2 straight decades is don't even pay attention until it's officially news. Because everything that gets leaked is usually from a front office or an agent trying to push their own personal narrative for their own personal or client's benefit. So that news may not always be legitimate. Good to see you, though. I always like seeing the callers from Give and Go pop into the "Now You're in the Mud" on Twitter. And I don't have to be nearly as presenting and professional here because there's a video element without commercials, and that's the difficulty with radio is you have to always be talking, always. You can't have dead air. Is there conversations with the NBA when you post their clips? Do they look the other way? I was on their shit list for a pretty long time. Now we're tight. But I was always a pirate for a long time. And I think they let me slide at least when I was coming up because I always had the best interest of the league in mind. I was doing this because I was a fan. I wasn't like um posting videos that were detrimental to the business. Hold on. No, hold on a second. You almost hit me. I'm trying to do a show over here. I tried through the window. They're playing tennis outside my window, and one of them shanked a ball, almost hit the window. What was I saying? Oh, yeah, with the NBA. So, yeah, no, now we're tight. Now we're tight. I did some consulting with them on how to improve League Pass and help them with their social channels and how to get videos up quicker, what to identify. And ever since then, it's been a collaborative effort, but they definitely targeted some of those, highlight accounts that were just like clipping and posting to YouTube. I don't know why. I don't know why they chose to shut them down eventually, but um, relationships matter. And my promotion of the product certainly earned me enough allies within Secaucus that I was able to survive when I was coming up. Now it's to the point it's too big. I don't even tweet, like, I don't do highlights. When's the last time I did a highlight? Like a dunk or something. It's the market's so saturated. I don't have to do it anymore. So it was a good way to acquire to get NBA Twitter to follow along. But now that I've kind of maximized that market, I don't really have to do clips anymore. Are the Pacers in position to sustain? What? Yes, obviously. How often do you think people with inside knowledge mislead you on purpose? And can you sift? They don't. Well, you're asking me, do they mislead me? Me specifically? No, because I'm not reporting the news. They're only going to mislead someone who is going public with it. So I'm going to mislead you so that you get that narrative out there, even though it's not true. And we're working towards something else, like someone that works for ESPN or a beat writer for a newspaper or something. They have to sift through it and they have to vet multiple sources, which is why some people take forever despite the whole like Nick's world knowing Tom Thibodeau's about to get fired. He's about to get fired. We've heard it. Well, you didn't report it because you're trying to confirm through multiple sources that it's a real thing. Otherwise, your entire reputation goes. If you mess up just once, you know what the pieces of breaking news I've reported were? There's been a couple. My biggest one was LeBron was going to show up at Summer League, the first Summer League after signing with the Lakers, that he was planning on making an appearance after the third game. And I knew it for a fact. And my source was, I'm not going to say who it was publicly, but it was legitimate. I knew they were setting up his seats. They were planning the entrance. I'm like, LeBron's coming. Breaking news. LeBron is coming tonight. And even with a 99.9% certainty, I was still so nervous. I'm like, he better fucking show. He better fucking show because I tweeted this shit out. I don't want to be made to look like an idiot. I can't imagine what it's like, the pressure that's on some of these newsbreakers to always be accurate. All it takes is that one that you miss on that everyone blames you for, right? You could be right 100 times, but the internet will try and drag you down, try and burn you to the ground because of that one. I had another piece of news once upon a time. Is there a reason why all NBA rebrands in the past 10 years have switched to team logos to a circular logo? There's got to be an explanation for that because they all seem to be going that route, right? I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. How do I feel about my cable management? I knew someone was going to bring that up. So you're talking about this right here, right? Right here. So it's behind the TV. And the only people that can see it are No one who's watching the TV. It's hiding behind the TV, so you have to be standing in this part of the room to see it. But you're right. It's like this ball of, and I'm not even using that cord anymore. So as soon as this stream is over, it is bothering me. I am going to put that back in the closet. What is my TV setup for watching multiple regular season games at the same time? Just TV here. I have another screen, laptops and iPads all over the place. Nothing crazy. I first reported the Hawks jerseys. Oh, Helwick, how do you remember all this shit? Did I do it? Yeah, I did do that. I did do that. It's because my agent's dad is CEO of the Hawks. That's how I got that info. So they wanted to push it through me to get it out there and start the conversation. That was the reason for that. There's always a reason. Like if I ever tweet news, it's coming from 100% guaranteed source. That's why I don't. That's why I've done 2 pieces of breaking news. I can't believe you remembered that. I didn't even know that. Did Shams fuck up the Dame trade or something? Said it. Yeah, he may have messed it up once upon a time. He's messed up a couple of times, but for the most part, he's right. And with honestly, with the volume and how quickly he's getting that stuff out, his accuracy is tough to beat. Even if you're not a newsbreaker in its truest definition, you are still one of the bigger voices in the league. So I just wondered how often you thought people tried to get you to talk about certain things. Oh, that happens all the time. I get pitched on like, yeah, you should tweet this. Hey, here's a little nudge of some information. You should put this out on Twitter. And I'm like, I can see what you're doing, especially if I don't know you. This is part of, there's benefits and I don't know what's the antithesis of benefits. What's the opposite of rewards? Detriments? Penalties? Okay. What I'm getting at here is someone like myself who's very much a lone wolf on a pirate ship by himself. I have a very limited number of allies and friends in the media industry, but they are like best friends. Like I can name about 10 to 15 individuals, high ranking media members that are like rock solid, trust them with my family and my life. And then there is no like sort of friends. I just don't talk to you. I don't beef with anybody. I operate my own little space. You can get mad at me, but I won't get mad at you, at least publicly. So I don't have those lines of communication open the same way, because most media members, you have to play this whole dance and game of like, I'll share your stuff, you share my stuff, and let's converse and do all this little hold hands and sing kumbaya and talk about the weather just to be nice and be friendly. Like, man, I don't have the time nor the care to do that. And if for some reason I feel like we'll hit it off, trust me, we'll find a way to have a good night and develop this into a legitimate relationship. But I have no new friends, no sort of friends. It's like a super rock solid group. And it's, you guys could type the names in the chat. The answer is it's pretty obvious at this point. That group and that clan of people are. So yeah. I prefer not to get into those media beefs publicly unless it's going to be something that benefits me. So if I beefed with any media member in my career, my only beefs are with De'Aaron Fox's wife and Bradley Beal's wife, and they both started it. I didn't even like. What are you picking on me for? Leave me alone. There's plenty of people on NBA Twitter that deserve your attention, but don't come for me. I'm the wrong one because first of all, I'm going to win. I'm always going to win the online fight. And number two, I'm not going to give you the engagement that you're looking for other than like my one comeback, which will bury you. Burner says, so what? Based on this great branding talk we're having, a topic I want you to address the correlation between possible expansion and getting away from the peak of NBA branding. I don't, is that a question? I don't know what the Vegas team's going to be called. I don't know what it's going to look like. But the Golden Knights, and they nailed it with the Golden Knights and the Aces. What do you think a good team name for Vegas would be? How about the Las? No. No. I'm just, my silence is my brainstorming. It's going to have to be a play on like a famous street name or casino game. I just talked to Wendy yesterday. I wish I would have waited a day. I'm like, what are you doing to LeBron that keeps him? Wendy's on the forefront of LeBron's mind for no reason. I'm sure Wendy's up to something behind the scenes, but it's just like Wendy. He's too good of a reporter, man. He is. Wendy is the. He is the oracle. That man knows everything. Everything. Especially big league business. Rebels. Ooh, well, UNLV's the Rebels. They're the running Rebs. Otherwise, I would say yes. I'm still thinking. I need some time. Like Aces was so good. Oh, Aces would have been an amazing team name if it wasn't taken already. The spades, the diamonds, the clubs. I gotta work on it. Did I see this Rick Brunson story? No. Is it an actual story or is it just a rumor on NBA Twitter? Just asking if that helps or hurts the NBA branding topic. TBD. No, we'll see what that looks like first. The Royals have been taken before. The Royals have been done before. Am I really sweating that much? Sheesh. All right, I'm getting hungry. It is spaghetti with meat sauce night. You know what that means. Potential for chases is going up. I really want to make some spaghetti with meat sauce right now. Got a craving for it. So with that said, I'm 20 minutes over my time. It says multiple Knicks players are unhappy with his presence per Amik. No, I'll wait to hear on that. It's been a banner day for NBA media, from making fun of Cat's appearance to some of these unfound rumors. But this is what keeps the NBA internet alive. You just won't find me participating in it anymore. I'm too old. I would rather go watch hockey and baseball and cook my spaghetti with meat sauce, potentially go play some tennis with these people on the court right now. So with that said, I'm out of here, folks. I'll be back on Friday. We'll have actually something to talk about after Thursday night's game. So we'll react to that and formulate some opinions and hypotheses on how this series is going to go, and let's see if it changes my mind on OKC in 5. But thanks for stopping by. Thanks for participating. This is meant to be a Q&A, so I'm only going to keep doing it if you guys keep asking questions, because I can just talk to myself on the radio. Do that plenty. Right, Ra? If you're still in here. You got it, girl sports addict. Girl sport. Are you girls? Wait, girl sport addict. Does that mean you're an addict of girl sports, or are you just a girl who's a sports addict? Let me go through real quick before we go. The sports that I prefer, women over men. Tennis, number one by far. Gymnastics, volleyball, all volleyball. Um, tennis is so much. Tennis is by far number one, by the way. Men takes too long. All they do is ace each other. The rallies are so much better in women's. Such a much more pure form of the game. Um, what other sports are there? Soccer is pretty equal for me. I like both. Soccer's close. Soccer's like 50-50. Maybe I could think of some more. But those are the ones off the top of my head. Oh, skating, figure skating, obviously gymnastics, I said. Figure skating for sure is like a women only sport. I'll turn it off if there's men on there skating around. That's like, yeah, 5 or 6. Split down the middle. All right. On that note, I'm out of here. I'll see you guys. Bye.